Hi guys,
Hello.
this is Across Oceans with Douglas and Szilard, a new episode. And before we start talking about our topic today, I'd like to ask you guys to subscribe if you like what we're doing, and tell us your friends if you think that these conversations could be helpful to gay individuals or other gay couples, or just to anyone. Then you can forward, share these videos, and yeah.
Yes. All of the things. You can do it all. Please subscribe, like, share, post, repost.
Because we want to get better, so we want feedback, and yeah,
Yes.
we mean it. Okay, so last time we talked about mother and gay son relationship. And yeah, the pendant of that would be father and gay son relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how should we start? What do you think?
We can just. I remember we had some talking points that we wanted to.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we want to talk with our personal experiences. Like, we had an episode earlier when we were talking about masculinity and femininity, and in that one we already talked about a little bit how our mothers and fathers kind of influence that idea, what is masculine and what is feminine. But maybe it would be a good starting point this time to revisit a little bit, like what kind of a man your father wanted you to become. Or what kind of a man he was to begin with.
Well, is because most of
Well,
ours.
he is, yeah. But I meant like while you were a child.
Well, I would say my father was kind of always working, very hardworking, studying, very studious. He provided for us, and yeah, I mean, he was a very hardworking man. He is still to this day. I think too hardworking.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think too hardworking sometimes.
Mm. And did he want you to become the kind of man he was? Did you have that impression when you were a child?
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, that's natural.
Yeah.
You know, that is very natural for fathers to want their children to be like them.
Yeah. My father was also hardworking. I remember when I was a child, I a lot of times noticed that my father was just stressed and he had anxiety about his work. He had a job with responsibilities, and I noticed that it was taxing on him, and he talked a lot about his job and his anxieties. He worked at a university, and he was responsible for buildings, facilities of the university, to make sure that everything is running, smooth. And because he was an engineer, and I noticed that kind of work was kind of related with stress and also health issues, like he had stomach problems. He had the stomach burning, and he had to take pills, and he had heart problems and all. So just as a child, I kind of like absorbed this association, like work means stress, means health issues, and yeah, I don't think that he wanted me to be that way, actually. And I, as a child, wish that he could take his job a little bit less seriously and a little bit, if he could have a more relaxed um, attitude. But with my father, it was also difficult because he also had another job, so to speak. He worked as a musician. He plays the drums, he plays the bass guitar, he also sings. So since he was 16, he's been also working as a musician, playing in different bands. So that was like a completely different part of his life. That was his second life. And in that one, he was completely relaxed and always happy, and he loved making music, and he loved playing for audience, and so he was like a completely changed man. So even though, it was a lot of time commitment and he had less time to just rest, it was still beneficial for him to have this second job where he could just relax and be himself and enjoy himself. So it was a combination of these both things, like work with stress and do another kind of activity that was just pure joy and relaxation. And that brought money in too.
Yeah.
But it was not his official job.
Yeah.
So, and what do you think, like, your father's expectations were to you? Like, did he expect you to become the same kind of a working man as he was?
So yes, yes, I would say definitely. There was a lot of it. I mean, if we're being honest, there was a lot of expectations, specifically during my high school years.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was, at that time, Obama was the president.
Yeah.
So there was already like this high kind of expectation for black men to kind of live up to Obama,
Okay.
live up to President Obama. So, at times it was overwhelming, I will say, because I had like lots of public burnouts in school, trying to be everything, and even in college, I remember my first semester of college, I failed like all of my classes because I was footloose and fancy free my freshman year, because I think it was a reaction to lots of the expectations, I think, in that I had to kind of overcome. So I was very wild, but that's common in
Okay.
freshman year relation.
Wild in a sense that you were rebelling against these expectations?
Yeah, I was rebelling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you also rebellious against your father, towards your father?
Yes, I will say yes, I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
In what way?
In that, I think and I forgive, obviously, but I think there was a lot of bias as far as success and what determines success for
In life.
in
Generally?
life, yeah, in life.
Okay.
And I think there's this narrative of hard working, get a business degree, get a you it's just
So what was important in life according to his teachings? Like what was it important? What was important to him in life to achieve for a man? Money, status, house,
yeah.
relationship. What were the things?
money.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, yeah, it was at that time. I think now, things are changing, and it is more of a healing. There is more of a healing that I do see with him, and I feel like we can have open conversations more so than before. But yeah, I think there was this narrative of like, you got to be financially successful.
You're holding back, I feel, a lot. Why is that?
Well, it was hard. I don't want to put anybody under the bus, but it was hard.
Uh-huh.
It was hard. Operating underneath those expectations. There was lots of expectations. For this kind of heteronormative behavior
Okay.
and this like idea of success, and that you have to be but it was not all crazy. There was, my dad did always kind of tell me like, be the best at what you do. We did have open and honest conversations. I just think that sometimes it was just a lot for me, growing up, because it was not just him. It was also coming from other generations in my family of like, where's the money? Where's the money? And so that dissuaded me and discouraged me in a sense from going full time and really inserting myself into creative pursuits full time.
Okay.
And so there was a bit of rebellious and a bit of chaos because of this overemphasis of money. And this is not just in my personal immediate family. I think this has always also been with with other aunts, cousins. There was something that was said to me. There was like, you need to be focused on getting you some money, and it's just there has been a lot of emphasis on that.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think
And what about social status?
social status, yeah, going to parties. I could say, yeah, that was also a huge thing. But my father, I mean, I feel like that was the social status thing was not necessarily him. He was very, he was quite detached, because his mother, my grandparents, were always kind of doing things because they had PhDs, and they were always doing these academic events, and my grandmother was always hosting something. So he did not necessarily, I did not see him with a lot of people around him. He was always very removed or distant from all of that, because he wanted to stay focused on his work, But because of, I think of the previous generation of Lewis's who were like partying, hosting, and doing all of these things, was too much for him, I think.
Yeah.
So
So that means that, okay, so yeah. So your grandmother represented something else than what your father, her son did. Okay.
I think yes, I think there was still traces of that.
Yeah.
Of working, more of working, too much, a little bit too much work, and less of a social integration. I think that was a reaction, a negative kind of reaction to the overemphasis of social life that happened with my grandparents, because my grandparents were always like doing things with the universities and sororities and social clubs and fraternities, and it was a huge thing.
And was it easier to come out to your father than to your mother, or the other way around, or was the same, or how's that? How was that?
Well, oof. I think that it was difficult really for both of them at that time when I first was growing up.
Okay.
I came out multiple times and it was not necessarily received well because we were so kind of deep in the church.
Okay. So, and then there was no difference between coming out to your mother and coming out to your father? No.
Not at a time. I mean, with as far as like now, my mom has really done so much, like, and she has been so open with me, and I've seen lots of changes, and she's apologized for lots of things. I don't want to disrespect them, but yeah, it was hard at the time.
Okay.
When I first started coming out, because I think there were.
And what are the things that you carry in yourself about your father, even though you don't necessarily want to be that way, or?
I mean, there are still certain things that I do appreciate about him, and
Uh-huh.
I do think that he is very great in organizing. He's great in his organizational skills are great. You know, he's a computer engineer, so he's very intelligent as far as data and numbers and organization and leverage and lots of those things as far as like monetary or business and certain things of that nature. But I think that there is a part of him that is within me that is very kind of removed and is a bit lacking in the social realm.
Okay.
And lacking kind of a social integration.
Okay.
With people. And that's something that I'm working on, you know. I don't want to be so ingrained in my projects that I don't stop and smell the roses and able to connect with people.
Yeah.
You know. Because that's the most important thing. If you're not connecting with people, the money doesn't matter, you know. Because if you're not happy, the money doesn't matter. And I feel like in New York, you know, I had a good time being creative. That's probably why I was so chaotic in New York. But yeah. And what about you? Did you feel that you have lots of similarities in you with your father?
I was very lucky with my father. I have to say that, because my father is carrying both feminine and masculine qualities. Like he is very rational. He's a doer. He's a worker. But on the other hand, he's an excellent cook.
Right.
And
yes,
he has no trouble with giving a hug and kissing, and so he has no trouble with physical closeness and intimacy. And so it was really a strange combination of masculine and feminine qualities in my father, and I definitely profited from that.
Yeah.
And it was also very interesting because my grandfather, his father, came from Poland, and he already had a daughter and a wife in Poland that they were killed in World War II. And so he was like a first-generation immigrant in Hungary, and they lived in a completely different model. Like, his father told him what to do. And he told him that, my son, you have good engineering skills, you are interested in machines and mechanics, why don't you study engineering?
Yeah.
And my father took that advice and just did exactly that. But on the other hand, I think my father is also an artist. That's why he
is.
started playing music.
He is.
And he never officially learned how to play the guitar or how to play the drums. He learned everything on his own. He doesn't know how to read notes, but he knows how to play music
Right.
damn very well, because it's all in his muscles, in his body,
Yeah.
and so yeah, and so he probably for that reason he did not describe to me what path I should follow, like what career I should take. Like when I told him that I wanted to become an actor, and he didn't say anything against it. There's only one thing that he insisted on, was that I also try other universities. I also apply for other universities, so I don't just go blindly into one direction, but I also make arrangements just in case that doesn't work out. But I got admitted immediately to the University of Theater and Film in Hungary. So it was, another career path was not an option at the time. And they also made sure that I studied music. I had piano lessons. I went to a special musical school. We were singing in a choir. We learned music theory, all different kinds of things. But on the other hand, later when I love playing music, but I don't like playing music to a public because I'm afraid of making mistakes. As an actor, I don't, but as a pianist, I'm freaked out that I miss a note or I forget the note or whatever. And sometimes I wish that I had my father's spontaneity in terms of music. Like, he never learned how to read notes, so he doesn't worry about whether he forgets a note or not. So it's like a completely different approach, and sometimes I wish I had that. And also, the only thing that my father kind of suggested, that he didn't say that you should do this. He never said things like that. But he was like phrasing it like, oh, I myself, like my father, have never done it this way or never achieved that, but I admire people who do this and that. And he was telling me something like I admire people who speak different languages and being international.
Yes, it's very
When
important.
it comes to exercise and physical strength, he said, like, I admire people who do yoga and stretching. Look, like he was not advocating for the typical masculine hard ass kind of physical strength, but more like being flexible,
Yes.
being supple.
But being flexible is strong.
Yeah, it is. So that's what I'm saying.
Bending and
I had a luck with him because he was like that. And he also noticed later that I'm much more like his grandfather and not like him.
Yeah.
Because his father, my grandfather, used to speak several languages, was international, traveled, and this is what I chose to do. And actually, I'm not really sure because I was trying to follow my father's advice or because I was trying to follow my grandfather's example. I never met him, but I knew that he was, living in different countries and speaking different languages. So maybe I chose my grandfather as opposed to my father. And that's another thing when I was thinking about what we should talk about on this topic, father and gay son. I realized that, when we were talking about mother and gay son relationship, we were talking about protective love and letting go and that sort of thing. But when we talk about father and gay son, there are also other aspects or elements that we should talk about. It's like somehow I feel like because our father are the first examples of this gender role. So our father also is like our male model. And the question is like, do we want to become like our father or not? Like sometimes I felt like when I was a teenager that I actually had to fight against my father to find my own identity and become the man that I want to become as opposed to my father. And there are certain things that I definitely wanted to do differently.
Right.
But on the other hand, because I asked the question to you, I would pose the same question to myself: is that what do I carry from my father? Despite of what I wanted or what I did not want to copy from my father's example, I notice every day that there's a lot of things that I do very similarly, or so I learned certain patterns and certain things, even though I was opposing them or I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that is a recurring theme. I think a lot of us have, and we are fighting in a sense, in reaction, positively or negatively, with our parents. We do have our parents inside of us. And I think that because our parents are our parents are the source of a lot of our, I mean, really, they brought us into the world. And they are really the closest relationship, actually the most closest relationship that we have, I think, outside of our siblings. And, we're close with our families. So I think sometimes we have to decide within ourselves what parts of them that we want to accept, what parts of them we want to forgive. I think we should forgive all. We have to. That's something that sets me free, is forgiveness, because I had a lot of resentment towards some of the things that I didn't like about him or didn't like about my upbringing, and that was eating me up inside.
Yeah.
And I think something that helps me is forgiving them, and like you said, knowing that they once had parents, they once had, kids. His father passed away when he was 18.
Yeah.
So that was a very traumatic experience.
That's very interesting because my grandfather passed away when my father was 18 as well.
Yeah.
So it's like totally the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that that's why I say I have to have forgiveness for him, because if I don't forgive him, then I really can't forgive myself, and I can't have peace with myself. I have to accept him so that I can accept me, because he is a part of who I am.
Yeah.
And even if we do have complicated, even if we don't agree on certain things, I have to accept him for who he is. I have to accept my parents, my grandmother, my grandparents, everybody.
Okay, so we are back. And so basically, just to sum it all up, you said basically that you don't want to be in a reaction. Like you don't want to refuse things and not do things just because your father suggested it to you at some point in your life. But instead you just take into all aspects and all cards into consideration and choose yourself what you want to do, regardless what your father would say or has said, or yeah. I also have a feeling that I actually have accomplished a lot of the things that my father wanted me to accomplish. Yeah. Not everything and not exactly the same way that he wanted it, but I actually have accomplished a lot of the things that he wanted me to accomplish. And I also feel that I got even beyond his expectations and my own expectations to some extent. There were some things that I always wanted to change, like I did not want to have so much anxiety as he did about having responsibility and just generally having to deal with stressful situations. And I wished that I could learn somehow to deal with stressful situations in a way that it doesn't stress me out, but I can remain calm, I can remain open, I can remain relaxed. And actually being an actor really helped me in that. And now I am beginning to generalize that feeling that in all aspects of life, sometimes I feel, okay, now there are two doors there. In which door you're gonna open and go in? Because I could get stressed out and I could react emotionally and just be upset.
Right.
But that is going to diminish my ability to deal with the situation significantly. Or I can open the other door and say, okay, I accept the situation as it is.
Right.
And I still calm, and what I know, and what I don't know, I don't know, and just let's see if that's enough what I know and what I can do,
Right.
and maybe I can solve the situation. I mean, the fact that I'm getting anxious or stressed out, it's not gonna help me to solve the problem at hand. And there's another thing that I would love to do differently is like, I think, but I might be wrong, it's just a projection, but the way that I interpreted my father's words is that he had a specific relationship to money and wealth. Like, he had this image that we are just small people, we are not rich, we are not the big players, so therefore we need to work really, really hard to get some money, but we are not rich and we can get rich, and we are not the people who are the big players and and I always felt like, okay, that why can't we, like why do we have to have this attitude, like why? Because I felt that this self-image is actually self-limiting, and so why can't I change that? Like why?
That's so ironic that you say that, because I feel the exact opposite.
Okay.
Within our upbringing, I feel like there was a lot of desire for wealth and strategy for wealth, which I think was debilitating emotionally. I think, as far as, I don't know, and I'm being honest, I think it was a lot of and this is something that I feel in my personal life that I have inherited, is this whole narrative of like education, teaching, money, always about money versus connection with people.
Yeah.
And this kind of robotic, but I feel like that's something that we as Black folks inherited from slavery. I feel like we still got some stuff going on from periods of segregation and slavery and that whole economic divide that happened in America of, trying to look like you have it together, but you don't,
Okay.
I don't want to be.
So is it like
negative.
a feeling that you have to work harder than white people do, so that you can prove that you are also as good as white people?
That was a very common thing, and not just in my household, but in lots of Black families. There was this huge narrative of like, in order for you to be half as good as a white person, you have to be twice as good.
Yeah. Okay. And maybe does that relate to Christianity as well? Like you have to be like twice as a Christian person than a white. Otherwise, could that be the case?
No, I don't think that Christianity has to do with the racial divide. I think Christianity has its own layers of.
But the reason why I mentioned that is because there are white people who are Christian and maybe not as homophobic as some Black Christian people can be? That's why I raised that question, but maybe I'm completely wrong. I don't know.
Well, there are
You
lots
know
of
better.
white. I mean, in America, but I mean, in Europe is completely different. I would say,
Okay.
and I don't know. I haven't been here that long to really to get to know lots of people, but I have experienced some homophobia here.
Mm-hmm.
I have experienced looks of homophobia.
Mm-hmm.
I have experienced racism here in Europe as well. I feel
Yeah.
in certain aspects, and I've experienced that in America.
Okay.
So it's a universal issue of division,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not serving anybody really.
Mm-hmm. No, probably not. And you also mentioned a connection, like
Yes, yes.
like what is the purpose of life? Like what should we okay, we need money, but without connection, money doesn't make you happy. Like
No, it doesn't.
you need to have friends around, family around, people who you love.
Exactly. Because what is
And-
the point of even having a house full of stuff
Yeah.
if you don't have anybody to share it with?
But there's another thing. Like many people say that to get money, you actually need connections.
You do need connections.
Because money is basically just like a means of, like it's a
Exchanging
form of energy,
value.
exchange of value, and basically the value itself is the connection.
It is.
That you do something useful for another person,
Right, and the
something
more
valuable.
Yes, and see, this is what I'm glad I know this has nothing to do with, but it does in a sense. This is it's right here. It set me free, and I'm excited, and I want to recommend this book because the book is called "Do What You Love and Money Will Follow." I'm ordering that book. I will report live in another episode that we have on what I've found. I'm excited to read it, but also I wrote down this thing in my book that I found from Instagram, and it talks about how money is the result, not the goal.
Right, right.
So if you tune your actions towards the behaviors of giving and service within your action,
Mm-hmm.
within your movement and everything that you do,
Yeah.
if your action and your energy and your intention and your overall intention for living is one of service,
Yeah.
no matter the craft, no matter what the art is, no matter if it's music, if you're playing the cello, or if you are trying to balance income statements,
Mm-hmm.
if your intention is one of service and prosperity and flowing and giving of other people through your actions, this is what unlocks the energy and the flow of prosperity to come towards you,
Okay. As opposed to having
as opposed to the
fight for it and holding back so that you don't lose.
and then I wanted to also talk about what Quincy Jones had to say, because Quincy Jones was this famous American executive producer for some of the biggest albums of all time, like he produced Michael Jackson's top albums, Off the Wall, Thriller, the biggest albums of the world.
Okay.
He worked with Frank Sinatra, he worked with all of these people. He was from America. He moved to Europe, and he was unlocked when he moved to Europe, and he started traveling the world. And one of his biggest, one of the biggest quotes that I got and I received from watching his documentary was, "God walks out of the conversation when money is involved."
Mm-hmm.
And this is
Okay.
something that I think is setting me free, because I think a lot of my energy and a lot of my movement was all about money. But it's an exchange of value. If you can focus and tune your energy to exchanging value,
Yeah.
that is what unlocks prosperity to flow.
Yeah. And yeah, that's I totally agree. Yeah. But it's very hard to resist that urge of, oh my God, because everything in life reminds us of our financial responsibilities. We have to pay the bills. We have to pay the rent.
Yeah.
We have mortgage, this and that. And so it just sets sets these conditions of fear and anger and frustration, that you are already indebted. You haven't even started your life, you're already in debt because you just finished college, and it's gonna take 10, 15 years until you pay your mortgage back, or your loan, your student loan back. It's like, oh. So it's kind of hard to stay open and just relax into it.
It is, but I think that this is something that I think that listening to your intention, listening to your intuition, being able to listen to what the universe is trying to tell you, listening to what is coming to you from different places. I think that life is always communicating to us, and what we receive and what we do not receive. And if we receive something from something or somebody or a sequence of events, if we receive resistance from it, we need to pay attention to that and let go, and allow ourselves to move in a different direction, as far as where the excitement and the joy and the flow is, regardless of trying to just iron it out and trying to
muscle it through,
and that's that whole American capitalist, something that I've had to pick apart within myself, this American capitalist drive, and you got to work hard, working hard to get money, rather than aligning yourself with your activities that make you happy and that bring you joy.
Yeah. Coming back to father and son, the last final question. Like, what do you think about changing the relationship with your parents, like letting go of the parental relationship and consider them as friends? Is that transition possible?
It
And
is.
what would it look like for you?
And I think it's necessary. I think my relationship has changed in a way, and my father did tell me that I can only be an advisor to you at this point. You're grown, you can do what you want to do, and I think it's helped me a lot, because I had a lot of animosity. I had lots of animosity.
Okay. Yeah, I feel the same way. I have wonderful conversations about everything with my dad, and it's a good feeling that we are struggling with the same issues, regardless of the age difference, regardless of the father-son relationship. We actually struggle with the same questions, with the same dilemmas, and we might have chosen different paths to solve those issues. We might have different beliefs or different experiences, but we are struggling with the same questions and issues.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's a good.
But I think we've unlocked some good things here. I like the way this.
Okay, so yeah, we stop now, and thanks for watching, and see you next time.
See you next time.